How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you do enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Today, we're going to be going over why it makes sense that Luffy is so much stronger than he was at the beginning of Wano. So, one of the reasons I want to do this is to kind of talk more about the Luffy v Kaido 1v1 thing, because there are plenty of people who don't think Luffy should be able to beat Kaido 1v1. There's plenty of people that think Luffy should definitely be able to beat Kaido 1v1 at this point. Some people think he can, but he shouldn't be able to, like it's kind of an asshole. Yeah. So, to put my stance out there on this really quick, I'm kind of on the fence, but I lean towards the fact that, I'm okay with the fact that Luffy being able to beat Kaido 1v1, if Luffy is able to beat Kaido 1v1. I'm kind of okay with that, and I'm kind of going to explain why in this video in a roundabout way, by just going over all of the stuff that has led to Luffy's insane amount of growth that has been contained in just this single arc. Have we ever seen this much growth in like one contained arc? Like, I get it with the arcs that reveal a new gear, like, yeah, that's up there with it, but this is like an insane amount just in this. From the time he showed up at the shore of Wano to right now in the manga, it's astronomical difference. So we're going to go over that and kind of why. And I think this really started, obviously, after he got one shot by Kaido. And a lot of the stuff in Udon is, well, kind of to blame for this stuff. So we're actually going to start with that whole one-shotting thing, because I kind of want to put that into perspective before we move on. I think that fight painted Luffy in a worse light than he actually was. Mainly because of the fact that I 100% believe that Luffy was not fighting at his best during that fight. I doubt Luffy was using even 75% of his observation haki, if I'm being extremely generous. He was literally just throwing everything he had at Kaido, like, well, I'm gonna try and knock him out if that doesn't work. Well, he didn't have any plan after that. It was just hit him with Gear 4th and hope I knock him out. That was it. He wasn't looking for a counterattack. He wasn't looking for a way to dodge or defend or counterattack a counterattack. None of that. So that was not Luffy at best fighting shape. Physical shape, yeah, he was fine. He wasn't hurt before that fight, but he was not fighting as well as he can. So I'm already saying the gap that fight showed us, I don't think it was that big if Luffy would have actually taken the fight seriously and fought smart. Because while yes, Luffy may be somewhat of an erratic fighter at times, he is a very smart fighter, and we should not forget that. So yeah, I think the gap was smaller than we all thought from that scene. Yeah, he did still get one shot. It was still a pretty big gap, let's be honest. So, to get into all of the stuff that happens after that, going to Udon, this is, I honestly think a lot of us are kind of starting to forget how good of a training session Udon really was for Luffy. Outside of the 2-year training gap with Silver's Rayleigh, keep in mind, that's kind of hard to live up to. Like, can you really get any better training in the world of One Piece than 2 years alone with Rayleigh? Like, that's stupid. That's not touchable. Outside of that, this training we see in Udon is some of the finest training somebody could get. Let's be honest. So, especially for Luffy, being a Devil Fruit user and getting those handcuffs put on him before he does all that physical rock lifting, running, training with Kid, just doing the regular prison work. That is an awesome physical buff, probably not only to physical strength, but also speed and stamina and everything else. Because, remember, they're probably weakened a little bit. They're probably not at 100% stamina. You ever wake up and you're just groggy? They're probably like that all day long. Just running full speed with boulders stacked up like 4 times the size of their bodies. Just going all day long, back and forth. Can you imagine what kind of physical shape you'd be in if you could even do stuff like that? Jesus. Okay. Moving on from that, we also have some extremely, extremely good observation hockey training in Udon if you didn't notice or didn't even really think about it. And if you try to tell me this is not phenomenal observation training, you're lying to yourself and me, and I'd appreciate it if you just stop that right now. Luffy running away from Big Mom while she's just swinging at him constantly, just chasing him through Udon. Tell me, if you're going to say that's not some of the best observation hockey training ever, dodging Yonko attacks? One more. Excuse me? Like, what? Sorry, there's another one. It just snuck in there somehow. Like, you're literally just running away, dodging attacks from Yonko. That's like the best observation training outside of fighting a dude who has future sight that is kind of cool with you on a personal level. Not really personal level, but like, man, I kind of get you, man. You're kind of cool guy. So, outside of that, yeah. So, once again, Luffy was the person getting trained in both of those scenarios. So, even more good observation training. Then, obviously, Hyogoro teaching him about the Ryuo, about the advanced armament hockey, about projecting it, all this stuff that he's seen Rayleigh do, and he gets a hold on it. Hell, he's able to break the what? What did Yamato have? Yamato had handcuffs like Sanji did, right? Not a necklace. Yeah, she had cuffs, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, cause Alright, so, anyway, Luffy manages to do the whole cuff breaking thing, like send the hockey into the cuffs, break them, throw them. He's able to do that after Udon. And while he may not have mastered it, because he kind of did have to sit there like, I really got to focus if I miss this. Like, he can still do it. That still shows a massive amount of growth from being able to not even remotely try to attempt doing this to being able to pull it off, even if it's not super regularly. Huge growth. Especially because armament hockey was not Luffy's specialty. And this kind of leads into, obviously, the buff we're getting later on down the line. And even in the Sumo Inferno, just like the Big Mom attacks, Luffy was also getting good observation training there too. He even showed it off. He said, hey, old man, to your right, look out. Hyogoro looked to his right, like, oh shit. Duck an attack real quick, like, thanks Luffy. Just punch the dude. Like, he was using it. He was training it. And we all know hockey blooms during conflict. We just got reminded of that in chapter, 1010 when Luffy did the whole boo. Yeah, whoa. Woo! Alright, that was awesome. So, moving on from there. Actually, no. Why not we just get straight into that? On top of all this stuff that I just talked about, been going on for 8.5 minutes now. Alright, that's great. Probably be less than that in the video. So, on top of all that stuff, we now get Luffy going back to that original one-shot, going, man, that still felt different than everything I'm doing. Like, what I'm doing does not feel the same as that. Like, there's something... Wait a minute. Hits the bubble. Now, maybe you can even, really stretch this out and say, that one shot over here, getting one shot, is a real kind of roundabout way to get this Conqueror's hockey buff. I mean, I'm just saying. But yeah, honestly, that is kind of the thing that helped that light bulb go off and kind of connect the dots in Luffy's head. And this Conqueror's hockey buff, obviously we all know is huge. We all saw it. We're all seeing it still in the most recent chapter. But I think it really is an incredible, incredible buff that where we started with Kaido, one-shottable Luffy. Udon training, Udon training, Udon training, Udon training, Onigashima. Conqueror's hockey buff. Boo! Okay, here we go. How you doing, Kaido? Like, that's kind of where I'm looking at this at. Because not only is this a huge, huge deal with Conqueror's hockey being able to coat things, he might be putting this fully on top of Ryuo, which would be it's just armament hockey, but that's what we kind of use for advanced. Everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say Ryuo, that external stuff. He might be putting that on top of that, using both of them, and even if he's not, which would be weird, but who knows, that training in advanced armament hockey, being able to project it and have it on the outside and coat it like externally, not just like the skin itself. that kind of leads into what Luffy's doing with the Conqueror's Haki. I don't think that this Conqueror's Fist stuff would be anywhere near as effective from Luffy's side if he didn't know how to do this advanced armament stuff. Because it's kind of like, okay, I know the concept of how to do this, I just have to do it with this instead. If he didn't already know that concept through armament Haki, being able to do it through Conquerors might be possible, but it probably would not be anywhere near as effective. So literally, you pool all of these different buffs, all of this different training, these light bulbs going off, these things correlating to one another, all mix that in a big ol' sit the dragon down soup. I'm kind of okay with it if Luffy beats Kaido 1v1 at this point. This arc has been nothing but Luffy one shot and then buff. So yeah, it painted him in a very negative light compared to Kaido. But then we've done nothing but just drag this dude up the mountain of power. Like, honestly, go back and look at it. Dude, all of this dude's growth makes a lot of sense in this arc particular because of all the things he's done and gone through in this arc. On top of that, we already know that Luffy is a prodigy when it comes to getting powerful enough to punch somebody in the face hard enough to where they go, yeah, it's fine, you can be the king, I don't care anymore, just leave me alone. This dude is 19 years old, everybody. He shouldn't be this strong at 19. He's fighting people that are in like, what, 60s or something? I don't remember how old Big Mom and Kaido are off the top of my head. They're old. They were old. At least compared to Luffy, they're old. Okay? It took them their entire lives to get to this point. Luffy is 19. This kid is a legit prodigy. Quite a few of the Straw Hats kind of are. So let's always keep that in mind when we're talking about this stuff. But with that being said, my timer is about to hit that 13-minute mark, and that's way too long just to talk about Luffy buffs. I mean, it's not, but it kind of is. So, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I'm going to have to edit this and say that again and put it in the beginning of the video because I've been on a roll. I've been saying it at the beginning, like almost every time I've been on a roll. I almost forgot. And now I have more work to do. I hate myself. But I hope you guys like me. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm out.